And now, live from our Smokehouse studio, it's time for Real Estate Jerky. All your real estate questions answered by our provocatively lean expert hosts, Edward Ed Parcaut, MBA, veteran, and president of Lending for Living. We'll give you something to chew on. Real Estate Jerky is on now.
That's my California.
Thanks for joining us here on Real Estate Jerky. I'm your host, Ed Parcaut, president of Lending for Living, along with my trusty sidekick, Marlene Chaplin. And we're on the road keeping you up to date on real estate and what's happening in the communities. Our studios wherever we have a solid Wi-Fi connection, and our fabulous engineer, Mike Murray, and the rest of the supportive friends at iHeartMedia. We always give you something to chew on here at Real Estate Jerky. You can call or text me at 209-404-1915 or email us at radio@realestatejerky with all your questions. Hello, Marlene. We're going to be talking to one of our candidates for California State Senate District 4 in a bit. But first, let's talk about real estate and all things that are happening right now.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, what is going on? Good grief. Well, off mic, we were talking about the interest rate.
Yeah, but let's talk about one thing. Opportunity is going on right now.
Talk about opportunity. There's always opportunity, especially
No, what's
when
happening right
times are
now
darkest.
the issue is, so everybody's so worried about, they're thinking 2006, 2008, the whole thing, and rates went up a little bit, right? And took out a lot of people. People are putting their house on the market and they're getting 7 showings and 1 offer. So the opportunity is, as a buyer, you can get that house that you have not been able to get for the last 2 years now. So don't hide in the sand, put your head in the sand, you get out there, keep looking. You could be able to qualify. Someone said we have a 50-50 chance we're in a recession right now. I'm like, yeah, I think we have a 50-50 chance we're not in a recession right now, but I think we're in a recession. We just don't know it. And that means what, Marlene? What happens in a recession?
Yeah, opportunity. That's right.
Rates go down.
Slow down. Rates go down. Yeah, things slow down. Prices go down. So even though the rates have gone up, the pricing is flattened out and in some cases improved for real estate.
Well, they're pricing it at the right price instead
right.
of expecting 50,000 over. They
right.
take their offer a little bit more over. It's just an opportunity that people aren't jumping on, and you need to jump on the opportunity right now, because eventually we can refinance you. Somebody can down the road to get you to that lower rate. That's what you have to look at. I can get my house
or you're going to be looking at it because the rate's at 7.5 going cha-ching. I mean, here's the thing.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, cha-ching.
Like I made the right decision?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. I don't know about 7.5 for regular rates, but because of what I'm saying is, I see already the Fed's they did a half. They're going to probably come back and do another 3/4, which they need to do, which is going to solidify the fact that we're going to go in a recession. And by October, November, I think we're going to see a drop in rates. I'm going the other way. So, but don't wait for that, because then everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon again, like they did in 2020.
Pricing's going to go up, and
yep.
I mean,
this is an opportunity. Take advantage of it, and especially if you're looking, a lot of this inflation. I don't know, gas prices are way high, right? Diesel is ridiculous. Everything's ridiculous. Prices of everything's up. You go out to eat, it's no longer your meal $20, it's $40 for your meal if you go out to eat. It's ridiculous. So a lot of the older people are telling me that they're really having trouble, and so I've been doing a lot more reverse mortgages, even more than I did early on 2 months ago, because of that. They want to have them in place just in case.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. Yeah, exactly. Yep. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity right now. And the thing about inflation, every time prices never go back down to what they were before it started.
No.
They may go down, but they're going to go higher before that happens. That's just, and what are you waiting on? I mean, one of my, they're going to be guests on the show in 3 weeks or so, but Thomas Pools and Spas, it's slowed down a little bit, and it's like, okay, people, but why? What are you waiting for? You think the supplies are going to go down? The price of it's going to go down? No. The interest rate, if you have to borrow money. Oh, Ed, can you help with that, by the way?
Yes, I can.
What's Yeah. So if somebody wants to build a pool, I mean,
Yeah.
they offer
You
financing.
have two ways to do it. You can do a HELOC, right? A line of credit and get the money out that way. Problem with that is every time the Fed raises, that rate goes up. And the HELOCs are based off of 30 years, but the first 10 years is interest only. And so right after that, then your payment, when you have to actually pay it back over the next 20 years, triples. And the people then call me and go, my payment's now $800. Can you help me? And I always tell them it might be smarter to start with a refinance, but it just depends on where you are and what your interest rate is. So
you're listening to Real Estate Jerky here on Power Talk 1360 KFIV with our host, Ed Parcaut, MBA veteran, mortgage advisor, and president of Lending for Living. If the recent turn of events with the economy and inflation has you reevaluating your retirement, a reverse mortgage might just be exactly what you need. You can reach out to Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915, or visit lendingforliving.com. Or you can email us at radio@realestatejerky.com. Hey, speaking of emailing us, a shout out to Marilyn Maines, our listener who got Chad Condit on the Real Estate Jerky Live. That was kind of amazing. And we are hearing from quite a few of the candidates because of listeners like Marilyn who are relying on you, Ed, to educate them about all of our issues and stuff. How do we go from being a real estate show to a political show?
It's community.
How did that happen?
It's community. We're not a political show. We just want to make sure that you vote, you understand what you're voting for and who you're voting for, because it's about your community. And that's why we have them on. I'm just glad they finally realized that we're important to them.
Well, I think though the justification also though is because so much of the real estate industry is dictated, unfortunately, these days by politics. It shouldn't be, but it is.
Look, interest rates, right? Can kill.
It is.
Yeah, look what just happened with interest rates. I mean, housing starts are down, other things are down. I never thought being political, having that thing would affect my business, but it affects my business drastically when you have the wrong person in charge doing these weird things. And we just need to get back to where it's California is about business, about people and growth, and not the way it is now.
Making California golden again. That's what Ed Parcaut is about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nice to have, I don't know if our listeners know, but I do a lot of lives under Real Estate Jerky a week. I think this week I did 9 of them, two political 11 a.m.s on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and every morning-ish, we do one about what's going on in the market. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So not just our radio show, but we do a lot of additional stuff afterwards.
Yeah. So, and then politics and how crazy it is. The guest that we have coming on today, you had him on Real Estate Jerky live on Facebook, and we immediately got comments. And I want to deal with this because in case somebody doesn't know, the rhetoric from the other party is that he's been disbarred, and that's not true. It's a lie.
Really?
Our candidate, our guest today, Judge Stephen Bailey, who's running for Senate District 4. District 4. And that was the one that got redistricted originally. Josh Harder, who is currently District 4, but it's no longer that district. It's crazy redistricting. So there's a whole lot of candidates in this race, Democrat and Republicans. But the thing about Judge Bailey is he says he's a policy guy, and I agree, but he's really an activist. He represented, for example, the school board in Turlock that they banned him from
because he didn't want to wear a mask.
Because he didn't want to wear a mask. Yeah, Judge Bailey represented him. And
I think he stands for law and order more than anything else. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
What's best for the community? What's best for the community with laws and orders so that we all can not get hurt.
Yeah, and that's a big part of his platform. So consequently, they came after him and imply that he's been disbarred. He has not.
Right.
He's not.
Of course, they're going to make statements. Nobody's going to research it.
I
That would take
did
time.
because
I know,
whenever
but that
the
would take
comment,
time.
we had the audience come on and start making comments on the posts of the video. And I was like, what do you mean disbarred? That would be, he wouldn't be able to run if that was the case, because that means there'd be some kind of felony or breaking of the law.
Right.
Well, it's yeah.
Well, how's he
craziness.
representing clients if he was disbarred?
Exactly.
Well, the other thing,
But
I
you're
mean,
right.
about the
They
law and
count
order.
on people not researching. They count on people bully. I think it's a bullying tactic.
Well, yeah, but not everybody's going to go away because of that. And then thank goodness he didn't. But the thing about I was talking about law and order and how it's important to get rid of these stupid laws that they put into place to let people out early. Sheriff Dirksey put a post about this one guy who had gotten out early and went and killed, did some other stuff. And it's like, we need to stop this. Yes, that's why we need candidates like the judge and other people who are about law and order to get us back to a safe environment.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Don't you agree?
100%. I totally agree. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
let's
so
get to
guess what?
him.
It's we're keeping our promises to all the home buyers and potential home buyers out there and our friends here in Stanislaus County and our outlying signal area completely informed about all the candidates in the upcoming California elections. Because frankly, if we don't, who will? Yeah. And our California, the one we love, the golden state of regular people like you and me, can't stand much more of this abuse she's taken over the past 20 years. So if you've got questions, we really hope you do. Please dial Ed at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. And who's Ed Parcaut anyway? Well, he's our host. He's amazing. He's an MBA. He's a veteran of the U.S. Navy. He's a mortgage expert. He's president of Lending for Living. Plus, Ed cares so much that he's doing all these great educational programs now, trying to make our community the best place to live in California. So if that's what you want to, then keep listening to Real Estate Jerky here on Power Talk 1360 KFIB. We'll be right back with our next guest, Judge Stephen Bailey, candidate for California Senate District 4. So don't go away.
You can change the way you live out the rest of your life with our new reverse mortgage products from Lending for Living. Our loan limits are the highest available. Call us today at 209-846-9270 or visit lendingforliving.com.
Welcome back. I'm Marlene Champlin, sidekick to our amazing host, Ed Parcaut, here at Real Estate Jerky on Power Talk 1360 KFIV, where we always give you something to chew on. Questions or comments for Ed, just dial 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915, or visit lendingforliving.com. Now, let's hurry up and get to our guest so we can take our time with what he's got to say. And that is candidate for California State Senate District 4, Judge Stephen Bailey. And that's retired, but I was taught to say, Judge, once you earned the title. Welcome, Judge Bailey.
Thank you for having me.
I kind of want to reiterate what Marlene was saying about how do you want, I want to thank you for being on the show today, Judge Bailey, but how do you want us to address you today?
Any way you want. I answer to anything that somebody says.
All right, but we just have to, if we say judge, we have to say retired, so everybody knows that you're retired.
Oh,
Right.
Occasionally.
Okay.
But it makes everybody happy if they know that I was a judge, but I am retired now.
Because when you're a president, you're always a president. So you're not a judge, always a judge.
Well, you're always a judge. You always
Mm-hmm.
carry that title. But, reality is that if you're retired, you don't want to be running for a partisan office. The judiciary should be nonpartisan, transparent. You ought to have confidence that decisions are not made on a partisan basis. And I think it is important that the public know that I was a judge, spent 8.5 years on the El Dorado County Superior Court, retired in 2017, ran for California Attorney General in 2018, and am a candidate this year for District 4 State Senate. And I'm a retired judge.
All right, I want to go back to something you said. You said should be partisan.
Should not be partisan.
All right.
Let's make that clear.
So what I'm getting at is currently it's not the way it should be. Is that what we're saying? That
Well,
I like, you know what, I like I got to talk to Judge Bailey a lot more than you did. And what I liked that you said when we were talking was why you decided to retire from the bench and run.
Well, there was a good reason for it. And I guess it's twofold. There's significant amount of politics that goes on while you're on the bench. And those politics are somewhat internal within the bench. There was a considerable amount of arguing and fighting among jurists over, as it always turns out to be, the budgets. And at a point in time, you get tired of that. But the real issue that caused me to retire was looking at where California public policy was going, changes that were being made that I felt were not in the best interests of the public. And frankly, we were lied to by politicians out of Sacramento when they were trying to sell us decriminalizing theft and decriminalizing drugs. They wrote a ballot title and summary that there's no way to characterize it. It didn't make the streets safer or the schools safer. And that's what they promised us. They promised that we were going to have all this savings and they were going to give it to local government so that local government could create programs against recidivism. They never delivered on that. It was a complete lie out of Sacramento. But what we did get when we reduced theft crimes, we got, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. What we got was more theft. And all you have to do is turn the TV on and watch the smash and grabs taking place all over California. That is a direct result of changes that were made in Prop 47. And don't tell me that drugs are a victimless crime, because there's never been a situation where the addict himself or herself is a victim, but moreover, the family of those addicts are victims. And ultimately, we get to the situation that we have not made California better with the changes that we made to public safety. And just looking back at the crimes coming out of Sacramento this week, where, a former inmate was released 6 years early. He was a violent criminal. He was sent to prison for a reason. A judge made the decision that the person should spend 10 years in state prison. And what do? They let him back out on the street. He goes out and kills 6 people and wounds maybe a dozen more. This is the ridiculousness that we are looking at in today's criminal justice system. And as a judge, you can't legislate that. You've got to get off the bench and go run for public office, a different public office. If you think that there are macro changes that need to be made to criminal justice, you've got to do it through the legislature.
You're listening to Real Estate Jerky here on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. And our guest today is retired Judge Stephen Bailey, candidate for California State Senate District 4. You can reach out to Judge Bailey at baileyforsenate.net. That's Bailey, BAILEY, FOR Senate.net. And if you'd like to talk to our host, Ed Parcaut, MBA veteran and mortgage advisor, and president of Lending for Living, because you get some real estate issues, then dial him up, please, at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915, or visit lendingforliving.com. You can always email us. I'm the one that gets these. You call Ed, you get Ed. You email, you get me. radio@realestatejerky.com. I love that's why you're running. I love that you saw it firsthand from the bench. I love that you are addressing the fact that we have been lied to so much that we have this huge group of people that are running for office, and your position is no different. There's 9? How many of you? How many candidates?
I
for
think
District
there
4?
are 8.
8.
I think there are 8 candidates, but I could be off by 1 or 2.
And we've had
seems
several
like everybody in the district filed to run.
It does. And I think because I mean, I'm going to say my 2 bits and then I'm going to be quiet because that's got a lot to say about this too.
You
The
gave me a lot of
redistrict-
stuff to read, and I've been
the
reading it, and I'm like,
redistrict-
going, geez.
The redistricting is so stupid on this. I'm hoping the good Lord could make something really useful out of it, because this redistricting, what was the reasoning behind this? Do you have a clue in this?
You know, honestly, I believe that they redistrict our particular district to disadvantage every incumbent Republican that was in the legislature. Senator Borges, who represented a good portion of this, they made sure that his house was outside of the district. They didn't put Kevin Kiley's district home in this district. They moved Senator Dawley north and created, as much as you look at the 4th state Senate district, which consists of 13 counties, all or portion, it really is a pretty compact district when you take a look at it. It's got all of Stanislaus County, which I think is a benefit to Stanislaus County and to agriculture here in the heart of California. But it takes in the entire watershed, the most important watershed in California, with maybe the exception of the Upper Sacramento and the Feather River. We've got most of California's water here in our district. And so we're going to have a voice in Sacramento, unlike in the Assembly or Congress, where we've got one voice speaking on our behalf in Sacramento on issues of forest management, of issues of water management and distribution. We're going to be able to talk in Sacramento about following the science when it comes to our fisheries and our forests. You know, as I've heard, and I didn't come up with this quote, but you either log it, graze it, or you burn it. And we've become an absolute master in this state with burning the state down. And at the end of the
In
day,
more ways than one.
oh, absolutely. But at the end of the day, when you burn our forest down, think of the carbon footprint that you're putting into the atmosphere. If you're concerned about climate change, the absolute worst thing that we can do is allow these catastrophic fires. And throughout our district, that's what we've seen over the last decade. Yeah. We've got to do a better job of being stewards of our environment. And that's going to be a key element of what I'm going to take to Sacramento. I'm a problem solver at heart, but we need to be able to find common ground with those on the other side, liberal Democrats, and start working on finding solutions to our resource management.
Actually, and I want to get onto that whole thing because you know, you were talking about how we're burning down everything and we don't take care of it. Well, the same thing happens with these electric cars. If people really looked at what it did to the earth to make these batteries, they would throw this all out. And they don't care about that. They only care about pushing their agenda. And it's got to be something about lining their pockets or something to push this, because if you care about the environment, you would say, forget the electric cars, because these batteries destroy the earth when they dig it up to get the elements that, if you've seen these pits over in China and other places, you would go, there is no way I want this to happen. This is the worst thing we could do. But everybody's like, we got to have electric vehicles. We got to go forward with this. And it's just horrible. Please check it out. If you don't believe me, Google it, look at what it does to the earth. Go ahead.
Yeah. How many ways are there to make, as our host at Parcaut says, make California golden again? Vote, 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 and educate yourself before you vote. We'll talk more with our guest, Stephen Bailey, candidate for California State Senate District 4, when we come back. If you've got questions, and please, I hope you do, you can text or call our host, Ed Parcaut, at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. You're tuned to Power Talk 1360 KFIV. And this is Real Estate Jerky, where we always give you something to chew on. So don't go away.
Our new reverse mortgage product limits can change the way you live out the rest of your life.
is Real Estate Jerky on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. I'm Marlene Champlin, sidekick to our amazing host, Ed Parcaut, MBA veteran and mortgage guru and president of Lending for Living. We're talking to retired Judge Stephen Bailey, candidate for California State Senate District 4, who, by the way, I believe may have the most practical experience of any of our big field of candidates for District 4. And District 4 is a redistrict. For those of you who didn't hear it last segment, it comes all the way from Lake Tahoe and Judge Bailey, it goes from Lake Tahoe all the way down to...
It actually starts in Truckee, which is in Nevada County. It goes through eastern Placer, all of El Dorado, which means it takes in the west shore of Lake Tahoe and the Tahoe Basin, which I live in South Lake Tahoe. Beautiful area. I'm proud to be from there. I served 8.5 years on the bench in El Dorado County, but it also goes down the eastern side of the Sierras, takes in Alpine, Mono, and Inyo counties. It goes down the west side of the Sierras, taking in Amador, Calaveras, Tuolumne, and Mariposa. Then it comes out into the valley and takes in eastern Madera, northern Merced, and all of Stanislaus County. It is, I kind of jokingly say that, there's no place that you can't get in this district in 3 hours. And I, as a lawyer, I've represented, clients all over California. 3 hours is, a simple day stroll in the car. So, I kind of look at being able to be present in any of these counties is an easy job. Frankly, compared to running for Attorney General in 2018, where I was in Crescent City one day and, out in El Centro the next. That was a trip, but this is a very compact district. And as I said, we have California's resource. We have California's water and California's forests and California's recreation. And the food that's on your table today probably came from Stanislaus County. The meat that's on your table probably came from Mariposa or Madera or even El Dorado. I mean, we are California's breadbasket, and I can't wait to represent it.
Now, was there something you wanted to add before we went to break last time when I was talking about the batteries and all that fun stuff about electric cars and all that?
Well, just the production of electricity, when you start deciding that you're going to use renewables so that you can recharge those batteries, and then you don't want to, produce natural gas or oil or anything else that actually powers those power plants that are, producing the electricity. I mean, if you think the cost of fuel is expensive, wait until you start having to recharge the batteries in your electric car pay for that electricity. Believe me, that electricity isn't going to be delivered to that charging station for free.
No, it's going to cost you, like, you have two choices: air conditioning or charge a car. Which do you want?
Which one do you want? Because you won't be able to afford to do both. It's so I can't even go there because it's so freaking ridiculous.
It may be so bad that it'll be food or electricity.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, the way the inflation's going right now and everything with rates and everything, I was telling somebody the other day, all I'm going to do is go to the fuel post where they have the actual how much diesel is. Super, and I'm going to say this is your investment. So your diesel is investment by an investment rate today. Your premium unleaded is your second home rate, and your unleaded is your regular home. That's how expensive rates have gotten. It's matching the gas prices. It's ridiculous.
Oh, there's a theme here.
Yeah.
Jeez. You're listening to Real Estate Jerky here on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. And
we're getting worked up here.
I know. Our guest is retired Judge Stephen Bailey. He's candidate for California State Senate District 4. That's us, people. And if you want to reach out to Judge Bailey, you can do that at bailey4senate.net. That's Bailey, FOR, Senate.net. And if you want to reach out to Ed, I hope you will, 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915, or visit him at lendingforliving.com. And you can email us at radio@realestatejerky.com.
Marlene, before you say your
couple of
thought, I don't want to
things.
forget. Yeah, I want to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Most
Yeah,
people don't know he
Marine.
was in the Marine Corps. Yeah.
Marine Corps Reserve. I was actually stationed over at Alameda. I mean, that was tough duty, I'll tell you.
Well, I was going to say, from a squid to a jarhead, thank you for being on the show.
Hey, I'll tell you, I mean, I loved.
I was a corpsman, by the way.
I've got some stories about those, the corpsmen too, but that's for another time.
Okay, so we have some really good questions to ask you that we didn't talk about, but I think you're going to be fine. Who do you endorse for Attorney General?
I've endorsed Eric Early.
Okay.
Eric ran in 2018 against me in the primary. Eric was a new candidate, but he has gone out. He worked hard on the recall, provided legal services. He's a strong conservative. And frankly, I'm proud to endorse him. I think he'll be a great attorney general, frankly, a qualified attorney general. And so I wholeheartedly.
Could somebody
endorse
somehow
that.
pardon David Dilaudid from our stupid attorney general that decided to make a project out of him?
You know, I haven't followed that case. I know about it, but I haven't followed it.
Yeah, we
But
all
you
know
did-
about it, but it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Which
It
they
was
made an
a
example
political
out of him.
prosecution.
Yep.
You don't
Yep.
think that you have political prosecutions, but you know, in the last 6 or 8 years, we've begun to see the justice system used in a way that is frightening, frankly.
Yep.
And he was maybe one of the first to be politically prosecuted, but it hasn't stopped.
No. Oh no. Oh no. No. And for his, I mean, it's a terrible thing. So
Actually, I have a question from our engineer. He's asking, what is the
Yeah.
solution for water deficiencies in California?
You know, there's a couple different solutions. Number one, there's been significant scientific study on when it is best to release water from our dams for fisheries. And a lot of the water being run down the rivers is for fisheries. And yet the University of California at Merced and at Berkeley have done studies, and we are releasing water at times when the fish do not need the water. We're not releasing the water when the fish do need the water. If we followed the science, as we've been told we must, we would have better water management. That's number one. Number two is, if you take the fuels out of the forest, we've got forests that are overgrown, that are, quite frankly, sucking water up to water plants and trees that we don't need to be watering. We would have greater runoff into our reservoirs and streams. That would help increase the supply. And finally, when you burn the forest down, you literally pollute your water system. And by better stewardship of our forests, we will have increased supplies, not only for the consumer, not only for the fisheries, but also for our farmers.
Okay, so how fast this goes, it goes really, really fast. One of the things I wanted also is you have a lot of experience in what I think, I love that all these young folks and inexperienced people are running. I love the idea that people are so motivated because of all the abuse that's happened. I love that. But what scares me, it really does, is I know, because I'm an old girl, I know how much time. You can laugh at that. Go ahead, Judge. You can laugh.
No, she
But I
actually has her hair
worry.
done that way, so she looks older.
Oh, baloney. These
Wait,
shoot,
So do
this-
I. I have my hair done this way, so I look older.
But what I love about you is that you already know how to draft. You already know how you know a lot of things. And I mean, talk a little bit about that before we get you out of here so people understand what goes into this office, going up to Senate, going up on Capitol Hill. You can't just go up there with your, you can't. You better know some stuff.
That's absolutely true. And I think what makes me unique in running for this seat is I have a combination of having worked in the executive branch, the judicial branch, and now running for the legislative branch. Governor George Deukmejian appointed me, a Republican, by the way, to the State Department of Social Services as a deputy director back in the 1980s, and that dates me a little bit. And I worked closely with the legislature. Democrats controlled the legislature then. We looked for common ground to be able to implement policy. California has a child support minimum guidelines now because Art Agnos and I and members of our department work closely together to come up with a child support guidelines. That was something that took compromise and took hard work and working with Democrats. I spent 18 years as a criminal defense attorney. People ask, why would you want to be a criminal defense attorney and represent criminals? Well, I'll tell you why. I had a mortgage and I had 3 kids, and I couldn't afford to work for a district attorney. So I did that for 18 years, 8.5 years as a judge. I handled a broad range of cases, everything from civil to criminal. And then for the last roughly 4 years after running for Attorney General, I've spent my time representing small businesses, individuals that have been arrested for protesting against the governor's COVID policies. And finally, I just represented Jeff Cortinas when, frankly, I thought it was a silly effort by the Board of Trustees to sue him because he wouldn't wear a mask, which I can't think of anything more draconian than to sue a member of your own board using a secret meeting to do it. And we stepped in and represented him, and they dismissed the case. Proud to have been involved in it. I was lead counsel. I appeared on his behalf. But at the end of the day, we were successful and they couldn't bully him off the board.
And that was the Turlock School District, correct?
That was the Turlock School District, yes.
Yep, right here in our back.
Right. And listening to you talk today and be on the radio with us, I appreciate you being here. But you, not only would I want you to defend me, I think you would be the right person to represent us in this up there. And I'm not, we can't endorse anybody on the show, but I'm just saying the closest thing I can get to that is what I just said. Yeah.
We can't?
Or no, we're supposed to be, both sides.
Who said?
Yeah.
I'm
we're supposed
old.
to have everybody
I earned it.
on. Everybody's
You could
supposed to be on, and we're trying to be that way. So
Okay. All right. I'll let
All right.
you. You can be
thank
that.
you for being here
I
today.
just get to,
Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene.
Thank you so. Yes. Let's see here. Which California do you want to live in? The one where families, food, and faith are raised, or the ones that only are fit to raise eyebrows? I know which one I want to live in, and I hope you do too. So decide and vote to make California golden again. If you'd like to support retired Judge Stephen Bailey for California State Senate District 4, reach out to him at baileyforsenate.net. That's Bailey, F-O-R, Senate.net. And if you need help with real estate, we got the guy for you. I know a guy. I think his name's Ed Parcaut, and he'll be back here shortly. But in the meantime, you can call him at 209-404-1915. That's 209-404-1915. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about the political climate and how it's affecting the real estate industry right now. Don't go away.
You can change the way you live out the rest of your life with our new reverse mortgage products from Lending for Living. Our loan limits are the highest available. Call us today at 209-846-9270 or visit lendingforliving.com.
Welcome back to Real Estate Jerky here on Power Talk 1360 KFIV, where we always give you something to chew on. I'm Marlene Champlin, sidekick to our amazing host, Ed Parcaut, MBA veteran and president of Lending for Living, who lets me say whatever I want.
Yeah, because I'm not the one that beeps you. I leave that for the station.
No, I really like this guy. I like this guy for Senate District 4. I was very, very angry at the way they redistrict us. And yet to hear him positioning that it's the water, it's the almost the entire watershed for the state of California. That will get you a voice. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. That more than most people realize. I like everything about what he was talking about, and what, we never have enough time on the show. It's perpetual every time. I never feel like, oh, wow, that took forever. I always feel like, but what he was talking about, he's been married for 45 years. He's got 3 kids. He's got 5 grandkids, and his grandkids can't live in this state because they can't afford to own, and the school system failed them. And he's campaigning to change that,
right?
Rather than be like so many people who move away and throw up their hands. I mean, I know, Ed, you and we're here to fight it out. We are not giving up without a fight. We're not going to let this craziness continue.
That's right.
No.
I'm going to sound like a good friend of mine from when I was in the Navy. I want to fight. Georgia. Yeah, so every time we went out drinking, not that I went drinking or did anything wrong, but he would get, drink a couple bit, and then he's like, we won't fight. Everybody ran into. So basically what I want to say is right now, we want to fight. This is ridiculous. What's going on.
Are fighting.
See, for me, what I mean, I want everybody else to. One thing I heard from the judge or retired judge was the fact that don't be afraid. Right. And that should be his slogan. Don't be afraid. Take on these people. Let's fix this, California. Let's do what we need to do. We've had a lot of people on recently, talking about their running and this kind of stuff. I think he's the first one who actually said the things that people want to hear, not just these are the these are the 5 things.
Yeah,
I know, but let me finish. These are the 5 things that I want to work on. He's like, this is the 5 things. This is ridiculous. I've been on this side of it and this side of this. We need to work. I feel that he is a force to be reckoned with once he gets in because of his knowledge of what he's done.
Yes, his experience.
Yes.
I mean, listen to what he was talking about. I didn't even know that. You thanked him for your service. You know what I want to thank him for was that child support order. I didn't realize that was during Deukmejian's years and during his years as head of social services. I went from getting $25 a month for 2 kids to getting, it was like overnight.
To getting 1940s.
Oh, shut up.
No, but $25, that's nothing. You can't even buy food with that.
Tell me about it. Yeah. Tell me about it. $25. And then they changed all these orders, and it superseded the court orders, which was a beautiful thing. It was like, yay, ha, ha, ha. Anyway, guess what?
Well, and because there should be, I mean, it's one thing about the child support that should be changed that affects us in our industry is if you're paying child support or spousal support, it's a debt against you. Why don't they just take it off your total income and then the rest of the income is yours? Because then you could actually qualify for stuff. The way they have it set up as a debt messes up people being able to own a home, even though if they lived in the same unit with their kids and still paid the same amount to support them, they could afford a home. So let me get off of that. That's something else we need to work on. But like I always say, it's the end of our show, fastest hour of the week. And I want to thank you for tuning in today. I want to thank our guest, Stephen Bailey, retired judge running for candidate for California State Senate District 4. You can reach out to Stephen at
BaileyForSenate.net. That's Bailey, FOR Senate.net.
If you missed any of today's show, you can always catch it via our podcast, and that's through the iHeart app or wherever you find your favorite podcast apps. Next week, we got fun when we have the American Graffiti Festival chairs and the North Modesto Kiwanis Club, Brent Burnside and Charlie Christensen. Join us, and we'll get to talk about fast cars, fast women, and great music. And in the weeks ahead, sorry, I did. In the weeks ahead, more candidates. We have Juan Alanis from State Assembly. District 22, and real estate trainer guru Todd Duncan, which is the guru that I've been around since I've been in the business. Please remember to stay calm and be safe out there. We're proud to live in this land of opportunity where you can build still personal wealth through home ownership. We'll keep bringing you something to chew on here at Real Estate Jerky. We broadcast Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 10 a.m. Like I said, you can always find us on podcasts. If you're trying to find us, just Google Real Estate Jerky and you'll find us. And if you don't do something this year, if you don't get out and vote, don't complain when you can't afford anything. Marlene, thank you for being here today. You're going to be here next week.
Yep, thanks for graffiti. Heck yeah. Only the fair time makes me any happier.
Well, I think my MLS license number is 235-384, and we'll talk to you next week.
'Cause we got small towns and farmland, folks who still make a living with their hands.